Margaret DePriest, writer on General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, and lots of other soaps, dies at 94. The architect of the human heart, Margaret DePriest, who wrote the rhythm of soap opera life, dies at 94. In the world of daytime television, where emotions run as high as the stakes and a single conversation can unravel a decades-old secret, the writer is the unseen god, the quiet architect of chaos and catharsis. For over 3 decades, that architect was Margaret DePriest. With a typewriter and an unerring understanding of the human heart, she didn't just write scripts. She composed the daily symphony of love, loss, and lunacy for millions. DePriest, the Emmy-winning writer whose work defined eras of iconic soaps like General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, and One Life to Live, has died. She was 94. Her passing marks not just the loss of a prolific talent, but the closing of a chapter in American storytelling, one where the intimate, sprawling saga of family life, in all its exaggerated glory, was a daily ritual. DePriest's career was a masterclass in creative endurance and adaptability. She didn't just work on soaps. She helped shape their very DNA during their most vibrant and competitive years. Her journey began in the 1970s, a golden age for the genre, and she quickly established herself as a voice of both heightened drama and genuine emotional truth. Her secret, as she once hinted in a rare interview, was a simple but profound mantra. The plot is what happens to people. The story is what happens inside people. Our job is to make them the same thing. This philosophy was the engine behind her most celebrated work. When she took the helm as head writer for One Life to Live in the late 1980s, she inherited a canvas rich with history. She is widely credited with steering the show back to its core, the Lord family, while injecting new, relatable conflicts. She understood that in Longview, the most explosive drama wasn't always a car crash or an amnesia plot. Sometimes it was a devastating confession across a kitchen table, the kind of moment DePriest crafted with the precision of a playwright. It was on General Hospital, however, that her influence became the stuff of legend. Joining the show in the early 1990s, she worked during a period of transition, following the supercouple boom of the 1980s. Her task was formidable: to honor the show's sprawling history while pushing its characters into new, emotionally complex territory. DePriest was a key architect of some of the most memorable storylines of that decade, including the escalation of the Luke and Laura saga post their reunion, and the introduction of the psychotic Ryan Chamberlain, a villain whose reign of terror became a benchmark for soap opera danger. But to reduce her contributions to plot points is to miss the essence of her creativity. Colleagues remember her in the writer's room, not as a dictator of events, but as a curator of character. Maggie would sit there, listening to us pitch wild, outrageous things, evil twins, back from the dead schemes, you name it, recalls a former story editor. And she would let the chaos swirl, then quietly ask, "But how does that make she feel? What does this cost him?" She was the conscience of the story. She always brought it back to the human cost. This empathy extended beyond the page. In an industry known for its burnout and churn, DePriest was a steady, nurturing presence. She mentored a generation of writers, many of them women, teaching them the unique rhythm and pacing of daytime. "She told me that a soap opera is like a river," said one protege. "Some days it's a rushing rapid, full of action and shock. Other days it's a slow, deep current where the real emotional work is done." A writer has to know how to navigate both, and Maggie was our master navigator. Her creativity was not confined to Port Charles or Longview. At Days of Our Lives, she contributed to the timeless, Gothic-tinged world of Salem, weaving her talent into the fabric of the Brady and Horton clans. She also lent her skills to Loving and The City, demonstrating a versatility that proved her craft was not about a single show's tone, but about a universal understanding of serialized storytelling. What was the source of this understanding? Perhaps it was her background. Before soaps, DePriest was an actress, even appearing on Broadway. This experience gave her an innate sense of dialogue, of what sounded true when spoken aloud. She knew how to write for the actor, creating speeches that were not just exposition, but journeys. A monologue in a DePriest script wasn't a info dump. It was a window into a soul, a chance for an actor to showcase vulnerability, rage, or heartbreak. In an era before binge watching, her creativity was designed for the slow burn. She understood the power of the cliffhanger, not just as a gimmick to ensure viewers tuned in tomorrow, but as an emotional punctuation mark. A Friday episode ending with a character discovering a shocking letter wasn't just a tease. It was a shared question posed to an entire audience, a collective breath held until Monday. This daily, communal engagement was her medium, and she painted in it with extraordinary skill. Margaret DePriest's legacy is etched not in marble, but in the collective memory of a generation of viewers. It lives on in the moments that made us gasp, the couples we rooted for, and the villains we loved to hate. It lives on in the very structure of modern serialized storytelling, from primetime dramas to streaming series, all of which owe a debt to the narrative engine she helped perfect. In the end, the world she built was not one of realistic docudrama, but of emotional truth amplified. It was a world where a coffee shop could be the stage for a life-altering decision, and a hospital corridor could feel like the most dramatic place on earth. She gave us a heightened reflection of our own lives, with all the love, betrayal, and resilience writ large. Margaret DePriest, the architect, has left the building, but the worlds she built, the hospitals, the lives, the days of our lives, continue to beat with the heart she so meticulously and creatively designed. She showed us that in the tapestry of human experience, every thread of joy, sorrow, and madness matters, and that the greatest stories are those that continue to pulse long after the final page is turned.